Yesterday. The West has the most drama when we talk about it, okay? Well played out. The Spurs look poised to repeat as NBA champions with the same team in place. Kobe and the Lakers are a question mark, however. Kevin Durant will miss the beginning of the season with a foot injury. Meanwhile, Golden State and Houston also strong teams in the West. So let's look at the odds. To win the West, the Spurs have a slight advantage over the Thunder and Clippers to win the West. We're projecting, Stephen A. Smith, who's making it and who's winning Western Conference Finals.
Skip Bayless, I will show the greatness of the San Antonio Spurs the respect that they deserve in the tough Western Conference by acknowledging that they will be one of the final two teams there, and they'll be a member of the Final Four. When you look at the Western Conference, you obviously have them, you have the Clippers, you have Oklahoma City. Do not underestimate Memphis, who can play some D, and their core is together and has been for years. They will be formidable. Can't ignore Portland. Lillard was passed up on Team USA. I think he's going to come out just skating on dudes, just busting them up. Houston will be a factor, relatively speaking. Golden State's there as well. We'll talk about the Lakers a little bit later on. But Skip Bayless, despite the greatness of Kevin Durant, second best player in the game, and Russell Westbrook, who I believe will show the world while KD is gone what a superstar talent he is. Despite the cohesiveness, the greatness of Greg Popovich, the team that he employed, that he coaches, their togetherness or what have you, I'm rolling with the Los Angeles Clippers.
Oh, my goodness.
To go to the NBA Finals.
What?
I'm going with CP3.
Wow.
I think Blake Griffin, Mr. 24 with 9.5 rebounds, shoot 52% from the field, continuing to improve on his jump shot, elevates even more into a man-child and will be one of the top two candidates for league MVP honors this year. DeAndre Jordan led the league in rebounding, 13.6 last year. Averaged 2.5 blocks. Still shoot 42% from the field. That was an impediment. That's the reason they couldn't beat a San Antonio Spurs. But what does Doc Rivers go out and do as the boss of the Los Angeles Clippers as well as his coach? He went and get some relatively small name in the equation, if you really don't know basketball, by the name of Spencer Hawes. Why is Spencer Hawes significant? He's a 7-footer who can play, obviously, as a big man in the post area defensively with Blake Griffin, so you don't surrender, but so much size. But offensively, unlike DeAndre Jordan, even though he shot 67% from the field, it was primarily on dunks, alley-oops. But if you take away that from him, it's a problem. Spencer Hawes, no such issue. He's a jump shooter.
Okay.
So as a result, he spreads the floor. He gets out on a wing or gets even behind three-point line. And what he does is, because he's a threat out there to hit those shots, it opens up space for CP3 to operate. Along with that, along with my man Jamal Crawford. Let me tell you something right now. Expect him to boogie on people all year long. This dude breaks knees, okay? He buckles knees. He twists ankles. He shoots rainbow shots from all over the place. He's lethal off the bench, okay? J.J. Redick doesn't get enough credit for the marksman he can be. I'm telling you right now, the pieces are in place. And no Donald Sterling distractions. None of this other nonsense going on. You got a billionaire owning this squad right now, Mr. Baltimore, worth billions, okay, who paid $2 billion for the Clippers and understands that, you know what? I not only want you to get rid of your iPads or whatever Apple products you got, because I'm not down with that. I got a different product that you need to bring in terms of laptop computers and all of this other stuff. But I also want you to win basketball games. The mandate has been set. He walks in there, and before Doc Rivers has a chance to go to the bathroom, he rips up his contract, signs him to a new year, 5-year, $50 million deal. Let me tell you something. The pieces are in place. It is time, and I am rolling with the Los Angeles Clippers.
Over the Spurs.
Over the Spurs to meet the Chicago Bulls in the NBA Finals. L.A., Chicago. Those are the two cities that I'm going to be in June.
And this has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that you would like to spend the whole playoffs in Los Angeles, California.
I wouldn't say
Am I right about it?
The whole.
He wants to be in good cities,
my dream, my dream finals was L.A., Miami. That was my dream. It let me down.
But you're okay with Chicago in the spring?
That's not bad. Okay. Chicago's not bad.
Great city.
Listen. Chicago, just stay away from Chicago between the months of November and March.
Cold.
Because it's too damn cold. But other than that, I'm good.
First up, for my surprise conference finalist.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a question. Can you recollect for me which series was by far the toughest on my San Antonio Spurs last year in their march toward their title?
Golden State?
No. That was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago.
Who could that be? It was first round. It was the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
The Dallas Mavericks are going to the conference finals.
It's possible.
You heard it here first.
Possible.
Because I love how they have rebuilt what was already a strong nucleus. Dirk is still pretty much Dirk to me. And you add Tyson Chandler, and I think he will be reinvigorated away from New York, be back to his Defensive Player of the Year standards, I think, in Dallas. And they did get Chandler Parsons away from Houston, obviously, and Monte Ellis is still there. They got Jameer Nelson to kind of run the point a little bit in place of Calderon. And coming off the bench is still Jay Crowder and Devin Harris. And I believe they're going to re-land J.J. Barea, who was a very important piece. Do you remember this when they upset the Heat in the finals? Remember that? I know you're texting, but it's okay.
Players, I'm not texting.
Okay.
I got a text from one of the players, that's all.
Okay, you got it. So I've got the Mavericks shocking many people to get to the conference finals over all that depth of greatness that you just elocuted through the whole. It's low. The West is more loaded than ever.
Yep.
But I am here to tell you that my Spurs are even better than they were a year ago because of somebody from her school.
Oh.
Did you notice who they drafted at the bottom of the first round?
You like that kid.
Do you know this guy, Kyle Anderson, Stephen A. Smith? Have you heard of him? Do you know anything about him?
I've heard a lot
Sort
about
of a poor man's Magic Johnson, if you will.
He's special, they say.
6'9"-ish, who
He's
plays Spurs basketball and looked like he belonged the moment he stepped on the floor in Summer League. I think he's going to be in the discussion, in the race for Rookie of the Year.
I agree with you.
Okay, thank you very much. And while Patty Mills needs a couple of months, maybe 3 months to heal from his shoulder operation, Tiago Splitter, your favorite player, is gone for a little while with the calf, and maybe the best player on the team, Kawhi Leonard, is gone with an eye infection for I'm not sure how long. Kyle Anderson might start. He just might start tonight. Now, you know what? I'll say this. I think this team, the Spurs, will struggle a little bit out of the box. You got a little hangover, a little, can we get this back going? And you know how they like to pace themselves. I won't be surprised if Dallas beats them tonight. This is the ring ceremony night at home. And I think the Mavericks are going to fly out of the box.
First of all, there's a couple of things that need to be mentioned here on national television, just in the interest of fairness. Number one, even though we say that we want to prognosticate based on people being healthy, it does creep in your mind that the Spurs, because of their age, the attrition, all the mileage they put on their body, are you going to successfully be able to manage and keep everybody under 30 minutes the way you did?
It's a fair question.
It's a tough pill for me to swallow that Popovich is going to be able to pull that off. Some kind of breakdown is going to take place somewhere. Major props to Manu Ginobili, your guy, for resurrecting himself last year after doing what he did the year before in the finals. Major props to him. He deserves all the credit in the world. I want to say that. Number two, about the Dallas Mavericks. I don't knock that. I got the Dallas Mavericks going to the semifinals. I got the Dallas. You know how I feel about Rick Carlisle, one of the best coaches in the business. He'll be on my radio show today, by the way.
Really?
Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, 1 to 3 p.m., Channel 85. Anyway, Channel 85, Sirius XM. So here's the deal. I'll say all of that to say the acquisition of Tyson Chandler is big because Tyson Chandler understands what's going on. Tyson Chandler helped them win a championship.
He did.
Tyson Chandler's got something to prove defensively. You know, Tyson Chandler's been very sensitive because people were knocking him because they felt he gave up on the Knicks.
Sure.
Covering the Knicks in New York City for ESPN New York last year, I'm here to tell y'all right now, Tyson Chandler didn't quote-unquote give up. He's too classy, too much of a professional. What Tyson Chandler has to understand, however, that because he was griping so much, it was interpreted as him giving up. He never gave up, never gave any shortage of effort, never lacked a commitment, but he was displeased and didn't hide it. And I don't blame him for that because they only won 37 games. But because he's got that chip on his shoulders because people questioned his professionalism out of New York, and Phil, to some degree, alluded to that, and Tyson Chandler was offended by that. the bottom line is I think that's going to spark him even more, and that's going to feed right into Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle is a brilliant coach. This man knows what he's doing.
Yep.
And I think they're going to get to the semifinals. I just don't think they're good enough to beat the Clippers or the Spurs en route to the conference finals.
Okay, so I got LeBron James going home to find some new teammates to go back and say, okay, now I'm good. I can take on the Spurs.
Okay.
That's what's going to happen.
And we leave it there because you don't want to say who you think is going to win. I'm surprised you picked the Lakers.
The Lakers?
To make it to the conference finals. I'm surprised, I said, yeah.
Oh, surprised I didn't.
Yes, yes. Moving on.
Well, you picked the Clippers. That's all you need to know.
The Cowboys